Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your man Tim Swain, and today I'm sitting down with a Ghanaian American that moved all the way from New York to come back to Ghana, set up this place just for people in the diaspora to connect, to find community, and a place to stay on their journey to relocating home. Let's go. So listen, we're back. Let me tell you something. There are so many people relocating to the diaspora and realizing business opportunities. So I'm grateful to sit with Michelle, and we're going to talk about her story. Listen, tune in for the whole one. Michelle, thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So we were chatting a little bit off camera. You were telling me about your journey to getting to Ghana and even the business that you started. So I got to go back.
Okay.
So folks can hear that whole story. So you're a Ghanaian American.
Yes.
So explain what that means for people watching.
It means that although I'm ethnically Ghanaian, right, I was born and raised in New York, Bronx, New York to be specific, and two Ghanaian parents, Ghanaian American.
So you were born and raised in New York.
Yes.
Schooled in New York.
Yes.
Now, in that time from being born and raised in New York, did you visit Ghana?
Yes, I did visit Ghana. In fact, when I was about in the first grade, I did come to Ghana. Parents in the States usually do this thing where either when you're misbehaving, or if they just need a hand, they'll bring you back to Ghana to maybe your grandparents and aunt and uncle. So I did that for I think a year collectively at the Achimota Primary School.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Boarding school.
Wow.
Imagine, yeah. So that was my first experience that I remember being here. And I honestly think, although it was like traumatic then, I don't think I would have moved to Ghana and made it home if it hadn't been home at that point in my life.
Now this was, you say what level this was?
First grade.
Okay, so maybe not, you maybe didn't, I mean, you definitely had some experiences, but it wasn't as like in your adult years.
No.
Okay. So then, when you relocated to Ghana, you say 6 years ago.
Yes.
So walk us through that process. When did you get to the place? Because for a lot of people, it's like you were living in New York City. Right. New York is New York, if you know New York, right?
Yes.
All the songs, the movies about New York.
Police New York.
For a lot of people, estimation, you were living in paradise.
Yeah.
But walk us through, when did you get to the place of saying, you know what, I think I want to make the transition permanently back home?
Well, I think I was at a point in my life where I was ready for a change, because I feel like when you live in New York, you could literally live and die in New York and not find any issue with that, because it's New York.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to leave it. So I really wanted to see what was out there, spread my wings, identify myself as something other than a New Yorker, because we really hold that close. So the move was going to be to California. And in 2015, my grandfather died at the beginning of the year, and in June, we came down for his funeral. And as soon as I hit Accra and just experienced it, it felt like home, and it felt like, okay, it's not California, it's Ghana, it's Accra. That was the move that I was meant to make. So from going back home in July up until November, I worked really hard. I worked any job I'd get. I waited tables. I picked up overtime.
Wow.
Yes. To save, to buy my ticket, and also to try it out, because I was dedicated to spending at least 6 months here just to see if, because you can plan things on paper, but you gotta feel it.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, and Ghana's the kind of place you have to feel it with your soul and your spirit, because there's some things here that will challenge your soul and your spirit. So I did that for 6 months, and I knew that, okay, yes, this is it. So when I went back home, I just started working some more, and then shipping all my my things down, and yeah, so I've been here since.
Now, what was the reaction from maybe friends, family, parents when you said, "Oh, I think I'm going to move back to Ghana, not just for holiday"?
Right,
but
I'm gonna move.
there.
Everybody thought I was weird, but I'm the person you would expect that news from. So they were
Okay.
like, here she goes. And one thing I noticed is that when men say that they're coming to Ghana, moving to Ghana, people would ask them, like my male friends, people would ask them, oh, are you going to start a business? But everyone kept asking me, oh, are you going to get married? So people assumed that I was moving to Ghana to get married, which wasn't the case. I'm still very much unmarried 6 years later. So clearly not the reason. But yeah, my parents were a bit skeptical, but they still allowed me to do my thing, and I'm glad that they did, because here I am building our family business.
All right, so I definitely want to hear about this business. I want to walk through. You decide to move here.
Yes.
You land on the ground. Let's get real.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't have to spill all the tea, as they say, but
Yeah.
but let's be real, because there's people watching, and I'm sure you'll talk about this in your business. Your business of helping people do the same thing.
Right.
What were some of the most difficult, let me say, adjustments?
The most difficult adjustments, I think for me, I came from a place where we value individuality, where everyone's their own person, and we really thrive in that space, and it's encouraged. But here, I found that, sticking out and standing out wasn't the best thing to do. And just kind of embodying and like assimilating to the community mindset was a challenge for me. For instance, if you're from the South, you're used to people greeting you, right? But even that is not like you've embodied the whole community aspect. But even greeting was like a challenge for me, because where I'm from,
New York. Yeah, you're not, good morning.
Right,
Yeah,
like,
right. Oh, get the out of here.
like, whose man's is this?
Yeah, seriously.
Right. So, small things like that, and also, like how the different genders relate to each other. That was a bit of a challenge. Making friends was the biggest.
Now, break this down.
Making friends, well, I've gotten broken it down to a science. So in Ghana, you build most of your network while you're in school, mostly secondary school, right? So, which is high school. So that's when you build most of your network, and these connections last throughout a lifetime. It can get you your new job. You can get it's literally like a members only card that will take you everywhere. So I had to use my cousin's network, because he's schooled in Ghana all his life. And it was very helpful, but it was also very limiting, because it's not like he made his connections based on me coming here. It's very unrealistic. But, in the end, through trial and error, and few mistakes and things like that, I kind of found my community, so to speak. And that's a huge part of why I even created this space here, to help people not only move back, but also to create community, to give you a community as soon as you land, and then you can take what you will and leave the rest on the floor.
Okay, so you move here. There are some challenges, rocky parts in the road, but you finding your place.
Yes.
And then maybe you realize this before you moved here, or even right now. You say, you know what? I think I need to create a business that helps people do the same thing that I did. Talk to us about maybe where the idea of that business came from, and then just give us a high-level overview of the actual business.
Okay. When I first moved to Ghana, I lived with my uncle. And if you've lived with any older relatives, you know that
it's not what's up.
It's not what's up, like the kids say. So living with my uncle, we had some challenges. I would need to go to the mall for like Wi-Fi, right? And he's like, what is at this mall that every day you're going to the mall? What is mall? And I'm like, people Wi-Fi. I need to do work. You know, so it caused a bit of friction, and also I think the distance from town, and I think to him, I moved back to just sit at home and just be a family person. And I mean, I wish I had the privilege to just say, I'm moving to Ghana to just chill with my family, you know, but I have to eat because this is Accra. So yeah, a bit of that, and also not having my own like independence and privacy, and just it was, like you said, it was not what's up. So I actually started building on this place. This property has been in our family since like the early 90s. So I started building on this particular structure, the downstairs portion, for myself. I wasn't thinking about anybody else. I was thinking about myself. And yeah, once I built it, and I just was looking at the upstairs area, and I felt like, you know, I've actually been pretty privileged. As much as it was challenging for me, like I had my cousin, I have family here, I speak the language, you know, and I'm the kind of person who always thinks about others. Like, if it's this hard for me, imagine like those who are coming, not knowing the language, not knowing the culture, unintentionally offending others, and or easily getting offended because we're not, you know, that culture translation isn't there. So really what I wanted to do was give people an opportunity to have a cultural immersion experience. So I welcomed my first intern. So she interned with me in exchange for like cultural immersion and things. And after seeing how I was able to lead her through Ghana, and by the end of her stay, she was like on trotro, she knew directions, she knew everything. And also the things that I noticed that the things that I guess were a bit triggering to her, I was able to explain it in a way where and I saw like how it kind of like changed her mindset. And I wanted to do that, you know, to change people's mindset so that they can better assimilate into Ghanaian culture, into the Ghanaian way of living, you know, because I think oftentimes we come and it's really difficult to detach from our American lens, and it colors our whole experience. And as spiritual and as soul connecting as this experience of repatriation is, I would hate for someone to encounter the wrong people, the wrong situation, the wrong, you know, anything small that could have easily been changed just by having an understanding, having someone lead you through it. Because, you know, they'll go back heartbroken, your money spent, and also your dreams crushed, and being in a place where you don't want to be, you know. Yeah, I thought about all of these different things, and I had to create Villa Diaspora. It's even above me. Like, this place has to exist for those of us who don't have all the tools that I had when moving here. So. So when you're here, you have access to me. Of course, this particular space is short term, so minimum of like 3-month leases, so you can live amongst each other, share your experiences, and things like that. And also just feel like you have someone and you're not alone. But also you have access to my network. My very same cousin that led me through the process is very hands-on here. He does the welcoming, you know, we do welcome outings, we go to a sumo, we did, you know, when things were different. But yeah, you know, it's just creating a really good welcoming experience for people to build a foundation on, so that they can get what they want to get from this experience of like either moving here or just, you know, testing it out.
You know, what you're saying makes so much sense because, you know, some of my earlier videos, one of the things I talked about was people did not understand how difficult it was. And I couldn't keep it all the way 100 because you just wouldn't have any kind of way to contextualize it if you don't know. But making friends is difficult. You know, just the transition of, you know, just the cultural dynamics of you in New York, right? You say, I don't like this, I want this. That's what it is. You come to Ghana, oh, no, anything is okay. Oh.
Yes, it's okay.
But it's like you give the person something, they're offended. So working through all that is really challenging. But I think the thing that's encouraging is you have people like yourself that have been through the process who are helping others do the process, which is so important. We need more businesses, tourism, cultural immersion, agriculture. We need all those things.
Yes, absolutely.
This business, tell us, what have been some of the challenging aspects about working this business, and what have been some of the most rewarding?
The challenging one.
Because we'll end with the rewarding, so we start off with the boom,
Yes.
then end with the rewarding.
I think the challenging parts were like, challenging my own idealistic thoughts about what this would be like and who I'd be working with. And I realized that, for instance, doing consultations, the people who I encountered, I was like, you want to move here for what? There are a lot of people. I usually categorize people who move to Ghana as, people who are running away from something and people who are running to something. So when I started to encounter the people who are running away from, I couldn't handle it. I realized that people are just here to be here.
Yeah,
People are here because, of what president they had. People are here because, well, I got laid off, so what else am I going to do? I'm going to move to Ghana. Like, it's not a trip to Vegas, It's not a fixer. Ghana will not fix you. And I was just, I was a bit caught off guard by how many people were intending to make that move for that very reason of having Ghana, it's a challenge for us to fix ourselves. Don't put that burden on us to try to fix you. But just different people's mindsets.
Sometimes people feel like they're gonna move to like Wakanda, and as somebody like myself, as an African American born and raised in the States with no like family, no history in Ghana, I can understand how some of those people there will be like, I'm tired of America, I'm moving to Africa, and then they get here and they're like, culture shock, because they didn't have a purpose for being here, and they assumed that every day was going to be like, let's say, a Ghana video.
Yeah, live off the land.
Oh,
I could barely grow tomatoes in my soil. Like, that's, we have GMOs. We have everything that is ailing you where you're coming from. We have it here as well. We have other things that make it worth it. Yeah. But the things you're running away from, you're going to encounter them here. So I always advise people that whatever needs fixing, fix it before you come here. Because once you hit the potholes one too many times.
The person is late one too many times. The person sees you as old Bruni and takes your money one too many times.
Yes.
Hey.
You can be discouraged.
That light's off. Hey.
Yes, exactly. And, bad reviews are shared more than good reviews.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I think just for the benefit of everyone, it's best if you fix yourself first and then, then come to Ghana.
So you've been running this business, you've been helping people. What have been maybe some of the success stories, or even when you look back and you say, you know what, this makes it all worth it?
I've had a few, and I think mostly it's when I encounter someone who needs the space. I've encountered people who, when they first moved to Ghana, they moved, with the understanding that a particular person would help them out, and that particular person, I guess, maybe didn't take them seriously, like, oh, wow, you're really coming, and people who have been just left, and I was able to open up our doors to them. I feel like when I encounter someone who is not having, I guess, the best transition because of the people who they've trusted and things like that, it feels really good to give them a space that is warm and welcoming and also trustworthy, just to kind of like change that perception, so that they understand that this is not the entire Ghanaian experience. That's the one that you had, but this is another one, so have this experience and then you can be the judge. And I think from this experience and all that you can gain from it and all the resources we have available to you here, you can really tell, like, okay, that person was not a nice person versus the people here are terrible, but just being able to provide that for people. And also the small things is what I find most joy in. Like, even telling someone don't use your right hand, your left hand, because this and that. Because some people have no idea. Because if
they're just greeting people, hey!
Right, and I realized that it's not only the shaking hands or the passing or the eating, but it's also like pointing with your left, and these are things that I learned the hard way in the market. So, just these small things that make their lives here much more, easier without, getting snagged on the small stuff.
You got somebody watching this right now, and they're watching this because they may be in one of those categories, running away from something, running to something.
Right.
And what would be maybe some quick pieces of advice for the person that is just considering Ghana as a permanent home? Maybe they don't know why. Maybe they saw videos, the year of return, they saw people drinking from coconuts and living on the beach and nightlife, and I think I want to make Ghana home. What would be some piece of advice you would give that person?
Although we do have all these things, and it's fabulous, we enjoy it, but also we take the good with the bad, or the good with the challenging, I would say. Just understand that it is creating your experience, and but what I would actually say before that is remain open and remain teachable. That's it, really. I would say that 3 times: remain open and teachable. Because I think a part of our Western lens that we have is we have to challenge this mindset that people who live on the continent don't have anything to teach us. Because that's that neo-colonialism that's it's like all the rage now. And a lot of us are doing it to each other.
Wow.
Whether you're a returnee, whether you're a patriot, whether you migrated out and migrated back, I see a lot of people embodying that. Like, I've come here because I'm all-knowing. I've been to school somewhere. Or I've lived somewhere. I have an accent. You're doing it wrong. But one thing I've noticed here is we're not doing it wrong. We're doing it the way that it suits us. We've been doing this for generations, and we're still here. So we're just gonna stick with this, you know, and just learn and understand your space before you judge, because you might really learn something, or even better, you might unlearn something, which is beautiful. But definitely remain open. And observant as well, and teachable, because I think one thing I've learned, even through my neighborhood, if people are warning you about something and you're like, oh, please, I know better, whatever, that's okay.
You better listen.
Right, because when you are going on a path that you shouldn't, they'll just watch you. And then, when you're like, why didn't you say, but you know everything. So so definitely remain open, remain teachable, and observant as well, and just take the good with the bad, or the good with the challenging, and we move like the kids say.
Someone wants to learn more about what you're doing. They may want to have a conversation with you. They may want to stay here to try it out. What's the first step? What do they do?
Well, the first step is reach out. We are on Instagram at villa.diaspora. Also, we have a website, villadiaspora.com. You would reach out to us, and also come in for a viewing. If you're in Ghana, definitely come check out the space, see if you enjoy the neighborhood, because we literally live in, like, I guess what would kind of be a cul-de-sac in the States. So it's very much the community feel. Everyone knows each other. We all look out for each other. So if that's not your thing, then, this wouldn't be the place for you. But definitely reach out, schedule a call if you maybe want to learn more about moving to Ghana, what you might have to do, what you might have to put in place, see if it's the right place for you. And just also one piece of advice I would give is, do not make day one ever touching down in Ghana your move to Ghana. That is a big no-no. Sight unseen, I would not recommend it. Not that Ghana's bad, but anywhere I wouldn't
You
recommend
shouldn't
it.
do that anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in
Yeah.
the world, not even down the street.
Yeah.
So yes, I always tell people at least come for a month. If you can dedicate like 3 months, that would be excellent, because after 1 month you're like, okay, I'm not on holiday anymore. And then you start to like find your way through things. Your money's like getting low, so you have to live like the rest of us live here. And it's not everyday beach. Sometimes Chorchora, sometimes, you know, red.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah, so that would be how you reach us, and also a bit more of advice for
Wow.
those.
Well, Michelle, thank you so much. I'm sure that your words of encouragement and authenticity has helped a lot of people. I'm sure that, you know, people watching this, just your story alone is encouraging, and I appreciate it. And, you know, we pray that you'll have much success,
Thank you.
because there's so many people that need what you have, and they want to hear and benefit from the story that you have to tell. And thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if you like this content, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. Until next time, peace.